Welcome back. This is Arise News. You're watching the morning show with me, Biola Labi. My first interview today was with Michael Kent, the CEO of Azimo, a digital money transfer firm based in London and Krakow, with 1.5 million registered customers and $1 billion in annual remittance, with Nigeria being its biggest market. In my sit-down interview with him a couple of days ago, he talked about Nigeria's fintech market and why Nigeria is one of the leading countries in the mobile money world. Let's take a quick look. So I'm going to jump into it. One of the first things that struck me was the name, Azimo. And my first question to you is, what does that mean? And actually, how do you properly say it?
Hey, I don't mind how you say it, as long as you use it.
As long as I say it.
That's Azimo, we don't mind. So Azimo is actually a Swahili word. What we do as a company is we send money for people back home to their friends and family, mostly in emerging markets, and Nigeria is a huge market for us. And a lot of that money is for family support. Azimo is a Swahili word that means to lend a hand, so to help out. And we thought that kind of encapsulated what we do as a company. And we also felt that, you know, we could imbue it with our own thoughts and feelings. It wasn't like, you know, Western Union, which doesn't really mean anything to anyone.
Sure, sure. I love the fact that there's a meaning behind it, and also it's about lending people a hand. And for people at home that haven't heard of Azimo, tell them exactly how the service works.
Sure. So you download the app.
I know it's an app.
It's an app-based service. So traditionally, people would living in Europe, living in the US. You know, the Nigerians get everywhere. There's millions of them all over the world. They would send some money home when they got paid at the end of the month to...
Remittance is one of the largest GDP contributors, actually.
It's exactly right. $20 billion plus per year. So it's a huge flow of money. And it's all coming from individuals. So traditionally, they go to a Western Union store, they'd peel out some cash and they'd fill in a form. They would hand that form over, it would get keyed into the computer system and the money would pop out. Quite often, very expensive. So up to 10% of that money would be taken out in fees. With Azimo, it's an app. You can put your contact details of your beneficiary directly on the phone, and the money arrives in between 15 seconds and 2 minutes.
And it goes directly into a bank account? Or...
So any bank account in Nigeria, instantly. And we can also top up mobile phones. So, but the main use case is sending about $200–300, 2–3 times a month to mum, dad, brother, sister, and it's, you know, you don't have to queue, you don't have to fill in a form each time, so it's a lot faster, and it's very, very significally cheaper. So generally,
what is your percentage? So the high street,
high street. World Bank tells us it's between 9 and 10%.
Okay.
We're at about 1 to 1.5.
And
so that's 90% cheaper.
How are you able to get your cost 90% cheaper?
So we don't have to pay for shops. We don't have to pay for employees in those shops. We don't have to pay for the problems that sometimes happen when you handle large amounts of cash. And effectively, we're doing what, you know...
so you're actually not you don't fall prey to like just sort of human error and fraud that happens in stores?
Yeah, so I think they call it shrinkage in retail. Shrinkage is the euphemistic term. But yeah, we control all of our security centrally, and we don't have to pay people to do a job of counting money or collecting cash.
How old is the app now?
So we're 6 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay,
it's gone like that,
yes,
you know.
yes. And how many people
are on it? Time flies when you're having fun. So there's 1.5 million customers. About half of those are on the sending side, and then another half are on the receiving side.
So both the sender and the receiver have to be on the app?
No, you don't have to be set up on the app to be able to receive money. So a lot of people just push the money directly into an account. To send money, you need to have the app.
Okay. So one of the things that happens in a lot of immigrant communities are actually that people are unbanked. So even though you're an immigrant and you're living in the US or you're living in the UK, you're not financially included in the system, either for many reasons.
Yeah.
How are those people able to use the app?
So you have to have a bank account to be able to send money with Azimo. It's interesting. That used to be a problem. It's changed very rapidly in Europe. It's changing more slowly in America. But now you actually, I think the level of unbanked in the UK is less than 0.5%, and that's especially true amongst migrants. So it's very easy to get a bank account in the UK now. If you arrive, you can either get one of the challenger bank accounts. Most places you can get banked pretty easily, and you need to be. You know, if you want to be a functioning member of European society, you need a bank account. There are stores and restaurants now in London where they won't take cash. They actually point blank refuse to take cash. So it's not just shopping online. It's actually you need that now.
How many countries are you guys currently in? Is it more in Europe, more in America? Like, where do you find these huge immigrant communities?
We're focused in Europe.
Okay.
Big markets for us are obviously United Kingdom, particularly for Nigeria, but also Germany, France, Spain, and Italy. So these are these big countries, tens of billions of dollars of remittance flows, and hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of migrants. So in Europe, they reckon the whole market is about $150 billion. It's a huge amount of money. It's not an easy market. People speak different languages. They come from all different parts of the world. So we have to adapt our product to serve those people well. But it's a very fast-growing business. So we're doubling every year, and it's a good place to play.
And then, so when you look at places like Poland, I saw that you're in Poland, in Germany. Who are the predominant users? Are they mostly Africans or Middle Easterns? Like, where do you find those big migrant communities?
We've got a very big spread. So we send money to 190 countries. We do more than 80 currencies. So we serve a lot of different people, and the app is in 9 languages.
Okay. Any Nigerian languages?
No, it's not.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. I think most Nigerians speak better English than I do. So so Nigeria is big for us, but the whole of Africa is a big market. China, India, the usual places that you'd see large migrant populations. And then Latin America is a very fast-growing market. You're seeing a lot more migrants coming over from there.
So before, we were talking earlier, and you were talking about a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. Tell me a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey as someone that is now doing this. What were you doing before this?
Sure. So I had a company actually doing money transfer on the high street. So we bought a bunch of companies, put them together, sold it to a private equity firm. And I guess working in that business and working very hard, it was my first business for 6 or 7 years. I just saw a lot of things that I thought were wrong with the process. And like many entrepreneurs, at that point was unable to get a job, completely unhouse trained. It was very hard to work for anyone after that. And so I was just thinking with a blank piece of paper, how would you actually do this differently? Knowing that technology, knowing that everyone has a smartphone, knowing that social media is changing the way that people act, knowing that most people now have a bank account, how would you do it if you started again? And I was very lucky to get a second chance, and that's Azimo.
Wow. And so with Azimo, you've been able to raise money. How have you been able to do that? How have you found the market response?
So I guess it's a benefit having done it before.
Yeah.
You make all the mistakes the first time, and you try and make less the second time, and then, maybe by the time I'm 60 or 70, I'll make no mistakes at all. But so we've raised money from a bunch of global financial services investors. The latest round was $20 million from Rakuten, which is a big Japanese Asian financial services company. So it's been a great ride. I guess if I was giving advice to entrepreneurs who are out there, try and get as far as you can with the limited resources that you have. Show some really good traction. And then you have to light a fire. So you light a fire in your customers' minds, but you have to light a fire in your investors' mind. So the size of the market, the quality of your team, the speed that your business is growing are all things that you kind of need to prove and go out and sell to people. And so that they believe in your business, believe in you as a entrepreneur, and give you some money, because these guys are not charities. They're not doing it. Yeah, they're not doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. You have to really compel them to get excited about your business.
And so is this? This is your first trip to Nigeria?
No. I come back 3-4 times a year. And so it's always exciting. I was just saying to you before we started, you can feel the excitement and the vibe that Lagos has that is unlike anywhere else in the world. 20 million people hustling away. It's great to be here. And
so, when you come here, you're feeling like this. There's an entrepreneurial energy. How do you feel like Azimo fits into a culture that is so entrepreneurial?
So we're quite close to some of the tech scene here, some of the development companies, some of the payment companies, so people like InterSwitch, people like Flutterwave, people like BitPesa, all of whom are changing the way that Nigerians think and use money. We're also partnering with some of the banks here, and they are very keen to get more people banking. So we talked about financial exclusion. Yes. More people using credit, more people insured, because that's, all of these things are just pushing very hard. We think we have a big part to play because we move billions of dollars into Nigeria every year, and we put money into people's hands. So, we help put money into people's hands, and that's money that they then spend on whatever they think is most important. Groceries, education, healthcare, it's kind of like, so we're helping to fuel that ecosystem. And we're always looking, so we spend a lot of time telling people how we build technology, how we work in an agile way, how we use data from our customers to inform our product choices. And so we're always trying to pass that knowledge on to just bring up an ecosystem, which is you can see is happening. The tech ecosystem in Africa is centered, right here, right in Lagos. So we're honored and humbled, and if we can help to be a part of that, it's exciting.
Do you work with people in developing apps that plug into what you're currently doing, or is it sort of you're not at that level yet?
No, absolutely. So we plug into a bunch of banks all over the world, but a bunch of banks in Nigeria. We're working with InterSwitch, which I think is a massive Nigerian success story.
The unicorn from Africa.
Yeah, exactly. The green unicorn. So it's fantastic. It's really exciting. So yeah, I'm spending a lot of time with those guys and working out how can we plug our technology into their technology to make the customer experience faster, cheaper, easier. I mean, we're just really focused on, solving the customer's problems. And
there was a couple of years ago, I think about a year ago, 2 years ago, where there was a lot of brouhaha over remittance, entry into the country. The CBN had sort of put some regulations around that. Did that affect you guys at all, or
yeah?
Did it
So
affect
I made an unexpected trip to Abuja to meet Godwin back in I think it was August.
That's the CBN governor.
Yes, the CBN.
For people
governor.
at home that don't know who that is.
Yeah, he's a good guy actually. I've got a lot of time for.
I've also interviewed him, so yes.
Okay, so the CBN is doing a very good job actually, and interestingly for FinTech, you need a good, sensible regulator who will communicate with the ecosystem. So, and I think there was probably a misunderstanding around what was happening in the market.
Can you actually help our audience at home actually understand what happened? I knew of it, but I don't know the exact details.
So I don't want to be misquoted on this, but what happened was the CBN changed the regulatory rules around who could send money into Nigeria, and previously had required companies sending and receiving money to be licensed, and changed those rules so that companies sending money had to be licensed as well. So that meant that for a period of time, I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks, there were only a couple of companies that could do remittances. So a lot of customers globally were found that when they went to their local store or agent, that they couldn't send money to Nigeria.
And then a lot of people locally were affected because school fees weren't being paid.
We heard some difficult to hear stories about health,
people that needed to pay for exams.
Education,
I mean, very simple
healthcare,
things.
that kind of stuff. So it was important. As an industry, we came together and we came out here and we talked to the CBN, and very quickly the issue was resolved. The licenses were granted, and business continued as usual. I think. It happens. I think the industry is actually stronger for it. We always welcome regulation because we want people to trust our service and we want to be regulated. So I think we got through it, but it was tough times. Whenever there's but this is not unique to Nigeria. Okay,
but I think that's part of the regulations around new sort of policies like this. I mean. Exactly. I think that's one of the things that the fintech industry is used to. A couple of days ago, we interviewed another wallet, a mobile wallet, and they were talking about regulations and their collaborations with CBN and CBN's willingness to learn and travel and sort of adopt best practices. So I think it was just an interesting thing, and it's interesting how it affected you and helped you respond, and also helped formulate policy.
Yeah, I mean, I talk to regulators all over the world. If they are open and they will communicate with you, you kind of know you can do business. It's where you have to write a letter, you get a letter back in 6 weeks, you can't get a meeting. And there are lots of jurisdictions where that's holding back the fintech industry. Nigeria is not one of those places.
Fantastic. Another question I have for you is a lot of what Azimo has, what you've been talking about is the fact that people can use it to transfer money and receive money locally. But Nigerians are doing much more trading globally. And to be honest with you, the fees are crippling to do business if you're buying things from China, if you're buying things. How can people use Azimo as well to pay
So
other people?
I know, and this is probably one of the things that we get asked more than anything else is when will I be able to use Azimo to send money from Nigeria to China, to South Africa, to back to London, to pay the school fees, to pay the college fees in America.
Answer that.
So we are in active discussions with a number of financial institutions in Nigeria to see if we can work with them to use our pipes, our rails, they're generally called in the industry, but our money pipes, to offer a cheaper, faster, better service for Nigerians. I can't tell you when, but we are having those discussions right now.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, I'm looking forward to downloading Azimo. Anyone out there that wants to send me money, feel free to send me money. Until I'm able to start to send money. But I think that for you, what do you feel is the one big contribution that Azimo is making, especially to migrant communities, Nigerian migrant communities all over the world?
You know, traditionally, and I think FinTech, this is all FinTech, but particularly Azimo, we want to just democratize good financial service products for everyone. You know, normally it's the recently arrived migrants who get overcharged, who don't have nice, beautifully designed products, and we just want to fix that. And technology, because of the scale of the business and because of the scale that technology can allow you to reach, we just want to build great products for, customers who really deserve them and who maybe haven't been well served with cheap, fast, easy stuff before. So yeah, I tell people to give it a go. It's fast, it's cheap, it's easy.
Well, thank you so much for lending a helping hand and for being here today.
Thank you.